When they had sung the hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. And Jesus said to them, "You will all become deserters, for it is written, 'I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered.'" They went to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Peter and James and John and began to be distressed and agitated. And he said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet not what I want, but what you want." He came and found them sleeping and said to Peter, "Simon, are you asleep? Could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Stay with me, remain here with me, watch and pray, watch and pray. Instead of listening to a sermon, I want you to place yourself in the Garden of Gethsemane and imagine that it's night and you are Peter or James or John. You may want to close your eyes to imagine, but you don't have to. You've come to that olive grove after an evening that's been a strange mix of warm fellowship and disturbing, often puzzling words and actions. But the food was good. Your stomach is nicely full. The wine was relaxing. Maybe you're feeling just a little buzzed. It's time to wind down, end the day. You're feeling loose, relaxed. But clearly Jesus isn't. When he takes the three of you aside, he's as tense as you've ever seen him. A not quite contained agitation seems to be burning within him, like a crackling fire, spitting and popping and throwing off sparks. Probably good for him to go off and pray for a while like he says he's going to. Maybe he'll come back calmer and at peace. He usually does. This time, he asks you to sit down, wait for him, keep awake while he prays. That's different. But you find a spot by one of the olive trees and sit. It's not very comfortable. The ground is hard, the bark rough and scratchy, the wood uneven and knotty. But you make do and settle in. He shouldn't be too long. You wait and wait and wait. But Jesus doesn't return. The night's getting darker, the air cooler. You wrap yourself in your cloak. It's remarkable how warm and cozy a simple cloak can be. More comfortable now and warmer. The food and wine start to have their effect. You try to keep your eyes open, but there's nothing to do to pass the time. You have no idea what Jesus is praying about, so how can you pray with him? You have no desire to review the disturbing parts of the evening. Your eyes start to close on their own accord. You jerk yourself awake more than once, but eventually, unwittingly, unwillingly, you fall asleep. Next thing you know, Jesus is shaking your shoulder, asking you why you can't support him in this, why you can't stay awake even for 1 hour. He tells you that you need to pray for yourself. Then he goes off again. Again, you try to stay awake. You even try to pray. But again, you fall asleep. And again, he wakes you up, tells you to try once more. And you do. Really, you do. But the eyes close, the head nods, and once more, sleep gets the best of you. This time, when Jesus returns, he tells you to get up, get going. You stumble to your feet, only half awake, and you look around. What you see shocks you. There's a mob. Now you understand. Far too late, you realize why he was so agitated, what he was praying about, why he prayed so long, so hard. Far too late. You understand. You may return to the here and now, leave the garden as they did, and confess your sins, as I'm sure they confessed theirs later that night.